Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I am Arjun Chaudhary. We're on the top story the tracking for you on Friday, the 18th of September. 33 people, including 13 militants, killed in Taliban attack on Pakistan airbase. India and Laos signed key agreements to strengthen ties. And Bollywood brings a witty rom-com this weekend. And now for all the details. Taliban militants launched a brazen attack on a military base in Pakistan's volatile northwestern city of Peshawar on Friday, killing 20 people and wounding several others. Officials have claimed that 13 of the attackers have been gunned down.
A group of militants on Friday tried to force their way to the highly guarded Pakistan's Badaber air base in Peshawar, triggering a gunfight. Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan has claimed responsibility for the terror strike in an email sent to the media. The attack comes at a time when the army has been trying to flush out local and foreign militants from their bases in North Waziristan, a northwestern tribal region bordering Afghanistan. The military had intensified its operations against the Taliban and other militant groups following an attack in a school in Peshawar last December that killed 150 people, almost all of them children.
At least 7 suspected militants have been killed in a US drone strike conducted on Friday in South Waziristan at the Afghanistan-Pakistan border. The attack was targeted at Shongkrai village. This is the second drone strike in Waziristan area this month. South Waziristan is among Pakistan's 7 tribal districts near the Afghan border, which are strongholds of Taliban and Al-Qaeda operatives. Among others, earlier this week, security forces imposed a curfew in South Waziristan after a convoy came under attack which left 1 dead and injured 5 security personnel. Indian Army on Friday killed 5 militants foiling infiltration bid in northern Jammu and Kashmir. In a separate incident, an Indian soldier and a civilian were injured in ceasefire violation by Pakistan.
Indian Army on Friday foiled infiltration bid by neutralizing 5 militants in the Gurez sector of northern Jammu and Kashmir. Earlier in the day, an Indian soldier and a civilian were injured after Pakistani rangers resorted to heavy firing and mortar shelling at Indian border posts in Poonch district of the province.
सुबह 6:30 बजे रात को भी बम चलते रहे और सुबह 6:30 बजे बम पड़े जो आकर हमारे दरवाजे के ऊपर और बारियों से अंदर छीन गई और मेरे बच्चे को लग गई है.
The incident has triggered a wave of panic among the residents.
डरे हुए हैं, कोई अंदर बड़े हुए हैं लोग, खाने के लिए नहीं, पीने के लिए कुछ नहीं हो रही है.
The ceasefire violations by Pakistan Rangers comes despite the border troops of both the countries agreed last week to maintain peace along the border.
Sri Lanka is set to initiate domestic mechanism into war crimes trial by January next year. The government says the onus is on it to conduct a criminal investigation into the mass atrocities during the civil war.
Sri Lanka's Foreign Minister Mangala Samaravira said on Thursday that the discussions on setting up of a domestic mechanism to investigate allegations of human rights violations during the country's civil war will be finalized by January next year. The mechanism will be established within 18 months after it is finalized after talking to all the stakeholders, he added.
We are determined to create certain institutions which will be able to win the trust confidence of the parties concerned. So, I mean, it really is in our hands to come up with institutions which are credible enough to address the grievances of the communities concerned, and I would say it would go a long way in building the trust deficit.
While the government said that it would welcome international help on technical and advisory capacities, it was however not prepared allowing foreign hands in the probe.
Even though it is not a criminal investigation on the part of the United Nations Human Rights Council, we have to ensure that we initiate criminal investigations wherever there is enough and sufficient evidence to do so. So that the burden of carrying out the criminal investigations is on us, and that is what we wanted. We don't want any outside bodies dabbling in such investigations, which should be basically done by us.
The UN in its report this week had called for a hybrid special court including international judges and investigators to try the war crimes. However, successive governments in the island nation have resisted international investigation into crimes in the 26-year-long civil war against Tamil rebels, in which tens of thousands of people were killed.
Indian Vice President Hamid Ansari on Friday held bilateral talks with the top leadership in Laos PDR to strengthen ties. The two nations signed key MOUs on air services and quick impact projects.
Indian Vice President Hamid Ansari, who visited Laotian capital Vientiane on the last leg of his two-nation visit, held talks with the top leadership on a range of issues including trade and investment as part of India's Act East policy. The two countries on Friday signed key memorandum of understanding in various sectors including air services and quick impact projects under the Mekong-Ganga Cooperation Programme.
We initialed the air services agreement between India and Laos. I think there is more demand from the Lao travelers who want to go into the Buddhist circuit, especially to Bodh Gaya and to New Delhi. And the Lao airline would be seriously looking at that proposition in the coming days. We will also be exploring this with our own airlines in future. The second agreement which happened, the MOU, was an umbrella agreement on quick impact projects.
Ansari, who was given the Guard of Honour at Presidential Palace, Ho Kham, called on Laos President Chomali Sayasone and met Prime Minister Thong Sing Thamawong. He also held restricted meeting with his Lao counterpart Bunyang Vorachit. India has extended a total credit line of $165 million over the past decade for infrastructure projects in the country, which includes transmission lines, equipment for rural electrification, hydropower projects and irrigation schemes. Laos supports India's concerns on major issues of regional and international importance, including India's bid for permanent membership of the UN Security Council.
In a bid towards strengthening ties, the Indian Border Security Force recently hosted a team of Bangladeshi students in the eastern town of Siliguri in West Bengal.
Around 25 students from Bangladesh, accompanied by Border Guard Bangladesh personnel, visited the Border Security Force facility in Kadamtala near Siliguri town on Thursday. The excursion program was organized by the BSF in order to build confidence between the two countries.
सरकारी स्तर पर तो कई तरह के संबंध होते ही हैं, लेकिन जो पीपल टू पीपल कांटेक्ट है, वो भी दो देशों के मुल्क के रिश्तों को मजबूत करने में बहुत सहायक सिद्ध होता है. और ये स्टूडेंट एक्सचेंज कह लीजिए या वहाँ के स्टूडेंट्स का यहाँ आना, यहाँ के स्टूडेंट्स का वहाँ जाना, पीपल टू पीपल कांटेक्ट का एक हिस्सा है.
The group arrived in India for a 4-day trip on Monday and visited many places in and around the town.
As a host, they were so great and they gave us such a warm welcome. We loved it actually. It's really great. And the country people, they're lovely, I should say. And the culture, I saw many people, children's, they were really awesome, I should say. Very incredible, versatile. They're very versatile.
Both India and Bangladesh share a long boundary, and the border forces of both the sides have been consistently making efforts to maintain peaceful and friendly ties.
As people across India soak themselves in festive revelry, there is a growing concern for the harmful impact of immersing idols in water bodies. Many people are now opting for environment-friendly, biodegradable idols.
It's festive time in India. Spectacular exhibits, also known as pandals, have been installed at various places across the country to celebrate the annual Hindu festival of Ganesh Chaturthi. People are thronging markets to buy the big and small figurines of Ganesh, which are immersed in water bodies to mark the end of the 10-day festival. But environmentalists have cautioned that the immersion of these idols, commonly made up of plaster and colored chemicals, is endangering marine life and threatening the environment.
It should all be banned. Rather than looking at asking people not to put their idols into the river, one solution should be, why should those idols be actually produced? So do not make toxic gods at all. Do not make idols that are actually made out of plaster of Paris and mercury.
But for the past few years, more devotees are opting for idols made up of biodegradable products. People in India's western Gujarat state shared their experience of building up a 10-feet-long deity using 600 kilograms of newspaper.
पर हमारे यहाँ के लोगों ने मेन तो पर्यावरण, अभी नरेंद्र मोदी जी का जो अभियान चल रहा है स्वच्छता अभियान, ये माटी और पीओपी के अंदर कोई स्वच्छता रहेगी नहीं, यानी मोदी साहब को आगे रखे हुए स्वच्छता अभियान मेन, वो हिसाब से हम यहाँ के बच्चों ने जब न्यूज़पेपर आते हैं और न्यूज़पेपर का एक पूरा गणपति बापा की मूर्ति बनाई है.
Despite the guidelines issued by the state and central pollution control bodies, hundreds and thousands of idols are immersed in lakes, rivers and sea across India every year. They are used to celebrate the culmination of the Hindu festivals of Durga Puja and Ganesh Chaturthi.
Love has its own side effects. This is what Bollywood's latest flick seeks to explain through this rom-com. Take a look.
तेरी हीरोइन को तो शायद कमिटमेंट का स्पेलिंग भी नहीं आता. तुम्हें उसे भूलना होगा मैडी. वो अगर मान जाती तो तुझे छोड़कर जाती है क्या?
What does one go through post breakup, especially when you were in true love? This is what Katti Batti is all about. The latest from director Nikhil Advani, starring Imran Khan and Kangana Ranaut, Katti Batti is a boy meets girl story. It's a modern age love story with some twists, turns and suspense.
इंटरेस्टिंग बात यह है कि आमतौर पे जो हम रोमांटिक फिल्में बनाते हैं, खास करके हिंदी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में, जहाँ वो फिल्में ख़त्म होती हैं, कट्टी बट्टी शुरू होती है, क्योंकि जो नॉर्मल कॉलेज वगैरह के रोमांसेस होते हैं, दैट इज़ व्हाट मोस्ट फिल्म्स आर अबाउट. हमारी फिल्म तब शुरू होती है जब इनका 5 साल का रिलेशनशिप टूट जाता है. तो everything else is in the past.
परेशान हो गया मैं तुम्हारी आदतों से.
The characters of the leading pair of the film are different like chalk and cheese, giving unconventionality to the plot.
I think जो फिल्म में सबसे ज़्यादा पसंद की जा रही है वो एक बहुत ही नए तरीके से जो एक प्रेम कहानी सुनाई जा रही है कि लड़का लड़की तो हमेशा ही मिलते हैं, प्यार होता है, वो है, लेकिन ये लड़की जो है अचानक से गायब हो गई है, कौन है, क्या चाहती है, क्या करती है, कहाँ चली गई है, तो ये जो पूरे रहस्य हैं ये पूरी फिल्म के दौरान जो है खुलते हैं.
Katti Batti is a tale of quintessential guy next door who is madly in love with an audacious girl. After living in together for some time, they start finding faults in each other as unease strikes in their paradise. But things take a drastic turn when the girl leaves the boy out of the blue. Will the boy be able to win back the girl is the question.
तुझे मेरे जैसा कोई प्यार नहीं करेगा, कर ही नहीं सकता. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. 33 people including 13 militants killed in Taliban attack on Pakistan airbase. India and Laos signed key agreements to strengthen ties. And Bollywood brings a witty rom-com this weekend. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time next week. Have a great weekend and good night.